Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-written commentary, Ashton. And this is our Lucha Underground review. Oh my God, what a strong ending to this episode. We have a new Give to the Gods champion after they had to jump through hoops to get there. And the closing cinematic, the mark in me couldn't be freaking happier. The Moth Tribe's ascent to prominence begins. And we got some other stuff on this episode too that we'll have to unpack and talk about, but I just can't get over the last two things that we got. I freaking loved it. I think, again, I am a believer in the adage, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Lucha Underground finished strong for me tonight. Partner, what'd you think about it?
Yeah, man, Lucha Underground tonight was really solid. It was one of those shows that kind of started slow and then got better as the night went on, and then, like you said, finished really strong. It was awesome. All
right, man. Well, with that said, do you have any other preliminary remarks you want to make before we get into this?
No, let's go.
All right, let us get right into our Lucha Underground review. And we know that lately with Lucha Underground episodes, it's been, all ring in action, and then we end with a cinematic. And that's pretty much what happened here. We got introduced to the band of the night, which, who was it again, Ashton?
Metalucha.
Oh,
no, Metalachi. That's what it is.
Metalachi. Okay. And yeah, so we get that breakdown from Matt Striker and Vampiro. And I believe our first match was Jake Strong, the Savage Jake Strong specifically, against Sammy Guevara. It was an all right match. We've seen Guevara and PWG. Like, we both know what he can do, and the guy's insane, and he's got a great charisma about him. Yep. I'm kind of disappointed that really wasn't permitted to come out here, which I guess in a way makes sense given the context in which he was introduced to the temple in the first place. So we've got to be mindful of all the facts. And obviously Jake Strong is the priority here. I will give credit to Lucha Underground objectively. Even though Jake Strong isn't our cup of tea, they've managed to really get him over and get him a positive reaction, which I find commendable because I didn't think that was possible. The big spot of the match comes when Sammy is able to distance himself from Jake, get a moonsault off the ladder that was more like Ibushi's triangle moonsault, where he just kind of grazed the arm and nothing else. But still, it was a nice visual, I guess, for TV. But then the match really ends with, I think Sammy tried to springboard. Jake caught him in what I'm calling the strong lock, since strong hold is already taken, and he gets a submission win. Really not much to say about this match. Anything you've got to share, Ashton?
No, I was a little bit disappointed because, like, normally when we get crazy high spots where someone's like jumping off of something, it looks amazing. And in this case, Jake didn't really catch Sammy all that well. So it was almost like one of Ibushi's triangle moonsaults where he just hits the guy's arm. That never really works for me. So it was a little disappointing in that aspect. But these guys, it is what it is at this point. I'm not, we mentioned that enough in the live reactions. I'm not going to keep harping on it.
All right. Well, with that said, I guess we can move on to our next matchup because I have nothing else to say about this.
All right, man. Well, our next matchup was Vinny Massaro, and it wasn't even a matchup immediately. It was Vinny Massaro in the ring, and Antonio Cueto interrupted him and claimed that his first thought when he saw Vinny's contract was that he should just be fired because he's dead weight. But then after he thought about it, he realized, if Dario had this guy on the payroll, he's got to be worth something, right? But then after his performance at Aztec Warfare, he had no choice but to order him a pizza. So the pizza guy comes out, brings the pizza, and he gives it to Vinny. Vinny opens the pizza box to reveal it has pineapple on it.
Yeah. Oh, God, what a horrible last meal for Vincenzo. Pineapple on pizza. That's just absurd. But yeah, then of course we know that it becomes a sacrifice to the gods match. And yeah, not really much to say about it. Vinny, I think, got more offense than most. He even got his snoring elbow. But then I don't know why of all times he decided to be cute. He was running the ropes and then he exhausted himself because his cardio is awful. at least, the character of Vincenzo's cardio is awful. And then Matanza, a few moments later, gets Wrath of the Gods on the pineapple pizza, no less, gets the win. And then, the pizza delivery guy tries jacking Vinny's wallet. And, Matanza sees this. He hits Wrath of the Gods on the pizza guy as well. Actually, no, he choke slams him. Excuse me. He didn't do Wrath of the Gods. And then he lays the pizza guy on Vinny. He sacrifices them both and the pizza. And that's the last, presumably, that we're going to see of Vinny Massaro. I liked him as a comedy act. I thought he was a good fit. Me and Vinny have interacted a few times on Twitter. He's a really cool dude, a really likable guy. So I was rooting for him. My emotions definitely clouded my judgment. I'm like, no. But I will say that I'm really curious what the end game of all these sacrifices is. I did a lot of speculating about it, I want to say last week, so I won't go all into that again here. But what did you think about this, Ashton?
No, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting kind of thing because I was even wondering in live reactions if these sacrifices are like genuine deaths and these people are disappearing because they are getting erased from this plane of existence, or if it works more like the Soul Stone, where they're really just getting like transported to a different dimension that Matanza can then tap into their power from.
Right.
So we'll see. That's something that's going to have to unfold.
All right, well, I've got really nothing more to add because, again, I did a lot of like my speculating and stuff, so I don't really want to retread that ground because I know we have other stuff to cover. So what came after this?
After this was the big announcement that with the Gift of the Gods, we're not going to do a 6-way match. We're going to do a 3-way match. But to determine who's going to be in that 3-way match, we're going to have a trios match first.
Yeah, so then we get trios pairing off. Evilise and Son of Havoc, they talk amongst themselves, and Son of Havoc goes with Mac. I do like that. Again, continuing that narrative thread of, solidarity and building the team. So then...
I have a question, actually.
Yeah.
Is it a bit of an oversight that Antonio Cueto said Evilise and Son of Havoc had luck in the trios division in the past and that they got to pick their partner when the literal current trios champions were already in the ring in Son of Havoc and the Mac instead of Son of Havoc and Evilise?
I mean, possibly.
Like, if you're specifically picking people who have trios success, why would you go with the former trios champions over the current trios champions?
That does make sense.
I mean, don't get me wrong, we would have ended up with the same team regardless, but as far as Antonio goes, like, why would you pick Evilise and Son of Havoc instead of Son of Havoc and the Mac?
I don't know. Maybe
And to take it even further, if I am Antonio Cueto, I don't want people that have good chemistry with each other being on the same team. I want them on opposite sides because, I don't want people that like each other to be, teaming up, because the whole thing is like you're trying to create this like natural chaos, right? So I mean, I don't understand why they wouldn't do, Evilise and Son of Havoc, you two have had some success in the past, but I don't want you to have a natural advantage over your opponents. So you're going to be team captains and you're going to get to pick your teams.
Right. I think all of your objections are reasonable, or all the questions at least you're raising are reasonable. For me, I look at it in the most simplistic, straightforward way. Lucha Underground's been like putting down a narrative of like showing how the Mac and Son of Havoc, like, they do like and respect each other, where Killshot's kind of the odd man out. And I think they wanted to show that again, like every chance there's an opportunity for Mac or Son of Havoc to do the other one dirty, they don't take it. And they always take the higher route because they actually have a genuine connection. Whereas Killshot, he's still like dealing with whatever he's dealing with. So I think that was just another opportunity to illustrate like the loyalty that these two guys have developed to each other. But I absolutely understand the points that you're raising, though. So
yeah, man. All right. Well, you want to talk about the match itself, the trios match?
Yeah, man. What did you think about this?
I mean, it was solid. I enjoyed some of the interactions here. The Mac was really the standout performer in this match to me.
Yeah, Mac is amazing. The way that dude moves, Jesus Christ. Yeah. He's really good at what he does. Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of match that just makes you love Lucha Underground. Everybody got their shit in. Everybody looked freaking great. Really, I'm always more interested, though, in the narrative implications of Fallout because, You know, everybody kind of does their thing. Everybody shines, again, to your point, especially the Mac, because he's doing kicks and Thez presses and Samoan drops, and he's not missing a freaking beat. But Son of Havoc gets in there. He tries for a shooting star on Cuerno. He misses. Cuerno capitalizes. He gets throw of the hunt. So Ivelisse wasn't pinned. One of the trio's champions was, and then Killshot's watching this whole thing go down, like in the audience. Like he's up there, like on the top of the steps. He's watching all this go down. And, you know, once they lose, Mill comes in. He starts attacking Mac and Son of Havoc. I noticed Ivelisse wasn't really caught up in that crossfire. Mac definitely was, though. He got apron powerbomb, and that apron powerbomb looked nasty because he didn't even get Mac all the way up. He got him like halfway up and then just dropped him.
It was like he couldn't get him up all the way.
Yeah, that looked brutal. I hope Mac's okay, honestly. But yeah, Mac got laid to waste. Son of Havoc got laid to waste. Mill just destroyed everybody. And just focusing on the losers, because we're going to talk about the winners, obviously, in the next segment with the Gift of the Gods match. Me and everybody else loved your idea. Like, you were the MVP to me of live reactions because you came up with the idea. You know, Mill clearly has a beef with the Mac, and, you know, Son of Havoc was a part of it, and Killshot was a part of it because he tried to run down to help. He accidentally hit Mac, which that one strengthens the other narrative of Killshot being the outlier and the discord that results from that. And then Mac just kind of, Mill just kind of pops him in the face. So you've got the tension with the champions, Mill's gunning for the champions, and you had the ingenious idea to me of Katrina reviving Phoenix and Jeremiah Crane, but they'd be like zombified, so they would obey Katrina. And then that would be a trio to go for the titles, which, my God, that trio going after the championships is freaking legit. I don't know if we've had a team that OP since the Lucha Super Friends. So I love that idea. And Ivelisse not eating the pin. Either she can continue her journey, her slow ascent to the Lucha Underground Championship. That's one route. Or, I don't know, because I doubt she'd get embroiled with anything Katrina related again, since they already handled their beef at Ultima Lucha Trace. But I'm very curious how this is all going to go down with her, because I was thinking that the Gift of the Gods is going to be her path to the world title. It's clear that she's going to take another path. And now I will say this, if she is going to take another path, we've already done Aztec Warfare. We've already done one Gift of the Gods. There may be another, but either there's going to be another or we're going to do another Cueto Cup. And I am still picking Ivelisse to win one of those. I definitely feel like she's going to be in the world title picture this season. I feel it in my bones.
Dude, this season is almost halfway over already. I don't see Ivelisse getting into the world title picture before the end of it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I definitely do think she's going to be the second ever female Lucha Underground World Champion, but I'm going to guess that's going to happen in season 5, not 4.
Right. I mean, we shall see, man, but it was heartbreaking to see her because you could even just see the look on her face and her expression like, God damn it, I'm out of this when I was so close. But yeah, this was a fun match. But again, the narrative implications I find far more interesting. Do you have anything to add as far as that? Because, I mean, it was your idea in the live reactions. Is there anything you wanted to expound upon or anything like that?
Well, man, the triple threat was a hell of a lot of fun. I really feel like once we actually got to that, Desmond Xavier shine. But as far as, you know, Mill and possibly going after the trios titles, I mean, it was my idea in the first place. I would love that to happen. It would be right up the alley of Lucha Underground lore for Katrina to revive, you know, Phoenix and Jeremiah and have them basically be like the new disciples of death, as far as like they just like walk around like already like zombified, you know, and they just kind of do whatever Katrina tells them. And maybe even you could even continue with the story of them drawing power from the stone and stuff like that. So that could be really cool. As far as Ivelisse, like I said, I do see her winning the world title, but not till season 5, maybe even season 6. We'll see. Son of Havoc was the one that got pinned in this match, but that is trios titles, so maybe that could relate to Cuerno going after the trios titles. I don't think that he and Mill are going to reconcile anytime soon, so maybe not anytime soon, but Cuerno might eventually go for the trios title since he did pin one of the trios champions in this match. And then, yeah, the Mac obviously is just awesome, period. So if you want to, we can move on to our main event, the triple threat.
Oh, please, let's, because I want you to take the reins on this, but I just need to get out like the preliminary remark. This was easily my favorite match so far this season. This was an insane triple threat. But please,
I would put this really close number 2 behind Johnny Vibora.
Johnny Vibora, here's the thing. That was insanely good, and I love the deeper meaning of it, of like Vibora getting that rub and Johnny Mundo doing what I've been waiting for him to do since dropping the title, and that's elevating other guys. But it was amazing. But like, I have to give this triple threat the edge over this, which me giving the edge over a Johnny Mundo match, like of anything, is like a huge deal. And these guys, I feel like, just tore the house down. But like, name some of your favorite moments in this match. I want you to go first. So like, unpack it for us from your perspective.
I love Desmond Xavier in these contests where he can just go 2-on-1 and just kill everyone, because he is like, he feels almost like another Leo Rush, where like he just fires off move after move after move after move. And he's not like throwing any real like crazy haymakers, but everything he does has a purpose. And I love that. Dude, again, though, Cuerno, such a ring general. Really, the highlight of this match for me was Desmond's dive off the freaking entrance area. That was amazing. That was like the first big, holy shit kind of high spot of the season, I feel like, and it paid off big. I don't really have a ton to say about the match itself, though. Like the big spot and Cuerno being just a badass ring general is really all I have to add, because the match maybe got like 10 minutes or so, maybe 15. And it was a great match. Don't get me wrong, but it was the really kind of take your breath away memorable moment was that damn dive from the top of the entrance area. It was awesome.
Dude, this to me, all right, just to kind of like work through everything. First of all, the biggest comments I have to make do revolve around Desmond X, because this was the kind of match that really kind of makes somebody, you know, in the sense that like you see them and you can't wait to see what they do next. That's where I am with Desmond X right now.
Yeah.
Like, I miss the shit. Like, make no mistake, folks. There is not an episode that goes by that I don't think about Dante Fox, because like he was the type of guy that I thought, well, whenever Johnny Mundo, if he ever stops like wrestling with Lucha Underground, whether it be a retirement or a seemingly better offer or, you know, whatever, guys like Dante, I could really get into and be so passionate. So like, I think about him every episode and I miss him dearly, but I'm looking at Desmond X work in there and I'm like, you know what? Depending on the character and depending on the presentation, like of all those elements, I could really, really get behind this. Dude, that dive that he did that you were just talking about a few moments ago, I haven't had such a like freak out, mark out, visceral kind of reaction to a dive like that since Angelico's first off the office dive. Because the second one was cool too, especially because it was like a drop kick and stuff, so it was a bit different. But it's like, okay, it's kind of almost become like a trope, you know, for Angelico in the temple. That, because of Desmond's positioning prior to that, because Cuerno just dropped him on his face on the guardrail, like to the right, I think, of the ice house. To see that he would scale that whole way undetected and then come out of nowhere. It was done perfectly. The spot was done perfectly in its presentation, and the execution was flawless. I was like, oh my God. The exchange between him and Azteca was great. I loved that the way they handled the exchange, you really couldn't tell like who was out of it until it was over. Like Desmond put up a great fight. Azteca was in it. You know, Cuerno sold the dive well because we didn't see him again like for the rest of the match. But even prior to that, Cuerno was looking great. I mean, his arrow from hell is perfection. Everything he does looks so good in there. He had an elevated full Nelson on Desmond X while he had El Dragon Azteca in an Indian Deathlock.
Yeah.
I mean, Cuerno is a freaking...
I was just, honestly, dude, I was really hoping he would use that to transition into like a dragon suplex while almost like turning the Indian Deathlock into almost like a Muda lock. That would have been amazing.
That would have been incredible, yeah. But Cuerno, you know, we always talk about these people that are like, oh, excellence of execution, or oh, they're so crisp in there. You know, to me, Cuerno, he is that guy. Like, everything he does to me comes off looking so perfect and so crisp. And he's got more of a rich character, I feel like, this season. Like, his presentation has definitely been upped from when he was first introduced, in my opinion, because he has this intrigue with the gauntlet, and he's almost like playing mind games with Antonio a little bit. So, yeah, Cuerno has everything going for him, which is why I wasn't really too worried about him losing, because it's not like he has nothing to fall back on. He has plenty going on right now, and it's definitely deserved. I love that in this age where like Lucha Underground is losing some of its talent, because we talked about all the people not returning and stuff like that, that they're really stepping up on Cuerno, and Cuerno is stepping up in kind into that role. And he's kind of being like, you know what, for all these people that stay, like, I'll be the glue, I'll be the constant, like, we can, write stuff around me and I'll kill it. And he's been killing it. Like, Cuerno is a real MVP. Desmond now, like, everybody's going to be excited about what this guy does next. And I'm certainly speaking for myself there. I can't wait to see what he does next. And then that leaves El Dragon Azteca Jr., who wins the freaking match after a victory roll bomb. This to me,
that victory roll bomb has almost become like a secondary finisher for him.
Yeah, because I was still waiting for that satellite DDT, but we never got that this match, I don't think.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like now that you and I have had a chance to kind of decompress from it a bit, what are your thoughts initially on EDA being Gift of the Gods champion?
It's kind of crazy, right? Like I definitely wasn't expecting that. Obviously, when it came down to these three, he would have been my second pick after Cuerno, because I just had a hard time believing that they would give Desmond X the Gift of the Gods when he doesn't really have any active storylines going on. But it does make sense, because EDA Jr. does have unfinished business with Pentagon. And it's gonna be interesting though, because he didn't cash in tonight, so we're not gonna get him versus Pentagon next week. So he's either gonna have to defend the title or cash it in. I'm curious. I mean, we already know from the end of this show that he might have a contender already coming up that we'll get to talking about for the Gift of the Gods title. We'll see, but yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting to see him defend it. He might end up actually being the first person to win the Gift of the Gods title. Actually, no, he would be the second, right? To win the Gift of the Gods title and then not cash it in to be able to even get an opportunity. Because I'm pretty sure Sexy Star wasn't able to cash it in, but it didn't matter because she just won Aztec Warfare like a week after she lost the Gift of the Gods title anyway.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it would make sense, though, because like the plucky babyface types have been the ones that have lost the Gift of the Gods title, because the first person ever to lose it in a title match was Phoenix. Phoenix lost it to King Cuerno and then won it back and then cashed it in and beat Mill for the title, but then lost the title a week later to Matanza. And then Sexy Star won the title and then lost it to Mundo and never won it back, but then ended up winning the title at Aztec Warfare and then lost it a week later to Mundo. So, yeah, man, there's definitely a trend of plucky baby faces losing the Gift of the Gods title, winning the world title anyway, and then losing the world title quickly after. So that might be a EDA's kind of path that he goes on too.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a formula that works. I mean, the only babyface exceptions we've seen to go on long runs were Puma, which made sense because at the time, like, he was the cornerstone of the product. Like,
plus Puma didn't win the title with Gift of the Gods.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, Puma won the title like legit. Like he actually won the title by winning the first ever Aztec Warfare.
And yet Pentagon Dark, who did win via Gift of the Gods, it'd probably be best to describe him more as a tweener, but the crowd just loves him so much. Like, you might as well call him.
Yeah, he's the furthest thing from a plucky baby face.
Yeah. So, like, that makes sense that he'd be the kind of exemption to, like, cash-ins where, like, the person's generally very well received. But regardless, EDA as champion, I think definitely has interesting things going for it, because here's the thing. If EDA succeeds, who's on the rise again? Matanza, who EDA has so much history with. So
yeah, like, their Aztec Warfare match last year, the cage match, was huge.
Yeah. So, like, you could either go the route of, Pentagon overcomes this challenge, but then has to deal with Marty. Maybe EDA has to overcome Marty because Marty's freaking focused now. Like, there are so many routes they can take. And it really is a case where, like, maybe you'd prefer some routes to others, but I really don't see a bad route that they can do with this unless they'd go out of their way to make one, which, I mean, it's Lucha Underground. I highly doubt that. So, yeah, I'm really digging EDA as Gift of the Gods champion, because I think, again, you can either revisit his beef with Matanza. You can have Marty, like, intercept that and be like, no, this is mine. You could have EDA succeed. You could have him fail, and then Marty is the one that beats Pentagon anyway. Like, so many things you could do. And, yeah, this great stuff. Amazing triple threat. And we're talking about Marty so much, I'm ready to get into that ending cinematic if you are.
Well, let's go. We see Marty getting dragged along a carpet on the floor of his own home, and we see someone in very high heel leather boots with the spike going on, standing above Marty and then putting their foot on the glass table that Marty was kind of next to, and it turns out to be Mariposa, and she takes the flowers out of a vase and dumps them on Marty's face to wake him up, and then holds a lamp up to his face and basically asks him like, hey, do you want to know why I did what I did at the end of last season, for Ultima Lucha Tres? And he's just like, because I hurt you and you hurt me. And she was like, no, you idiot. It's because I needed you to focus. And she literally said, even though I wear the Mariposa mask, you are the one who is destined for greatness.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I dug this explanation. Obviously, like I was so into this cinematic given everything like we got. But I was almost, I don't know, because like the whole story of the Mariposa being like the strongest of the tribe and stuff like that, if Marty was the one destined for greatness, even if it was only temporarily, given that Marty had his head shaved, and I remember you telling me like when the crowd was like exiting, so like Marty like never broke character, he was like, get away from me, motherfucker, get away from me, like he was like incensed. I would have loved if like Marty in that rage, took the mask from Mariposa just to hide the baldness, while also being like, I'm the one really destined for greatness. I feel like they could have mined more from that rather than Mariposa just being like, oh yeah, I know I have this distinction, but it's really you. But then again, that's what Lucha Underground brings out in me. They do so well with their narratives. It always makes me think, okay, well, how could we tweak this or elevate this or whatever? Looking at this.
Dude, I agree with you though. And honestly, I didn't even think of the idea of Marty wearing the mask to cover up the baldness. That's fucking brilliant. But the problem that I initially had was, why does she have the Mariposa like title if she's not the one that's destined for greatness? Like, I don't really get what they're going for there, but obviously the point is she wants what's best for her little brother.
Honestly, I would love, see, I don't know what Lucha Underground's going to do with this, but given that when Marty was originally telling us the history of the Moth Tribe, the book was blank, and we just kind of really had like a laugh about that because like, wow, he's so crazy. Like this is just machinations of like his own mind, this whole history. I would love if like we really unpacked it and maybe like the Moth Tribe and all this stuff of greatness, maybe it could be like this scathing critique of like religious fundamentalism or whatever, and it'd be like, oh, it's all a lie, or maybe there was some truth, but it wasn't the truth that you believed, or just something. Because like, I don't know, like with all this, I almost feel like you have to do something with it, because like we remember this stuff. It's like,
or maybe, you know what? Now that I think about it, maybe because that book was blank, maybe everything that he said was a lie. Maybe he didn't really come from wealth. Maybe the Mariposa wasn't actually like this historical great title that was handed down from generation to generation of the best fighter, and that was just him conjuring that up in his mind because he viewed his sister as the best fighter that he ever saw. Like maybe it was all like him making shit up because the book was blank, so he wasn't actually reading anything.
Oh, so maybe it's more like you're saying, like that sibling worship. Like, yeah, my sister's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I can dig this. See, now that's.
And by the way, Marty has a new fascination, and it's not. It wasn't. It is now, but it wasn't initially with the Lucha Underground title. It was the Pentagon's teeth.
Dude, I love it. I love how sick this motherfucker is.
He really is.
Guys, just to tell you, because I know Marty. You guys saw him in the chat last week. I know he listens to this. So first of all, Marty, fucking love that like they're setting you up now to pursue the Lucha Underground Championship. That's fucking amazing. And second of all, this dude is so committed to like what he does that I asked him, because Twitter's always a great platform to like learn more about your favorite wrestlers, stuff like that. I asked him like, oh, who are your biggest wrestling influences? Because I'm thinking, maybe like Mick Foley, whatever. And he's like, oh, Ed Gein, and all these other serial killers. And I'm like, oh my God, this dude, he's so perfect. I mean, out of context, that would sound mortifying to say, but like, yeah, he's so fucking perfect. No, dude, I love Marty. You know that. I think like he's definitely my second favorite guy behind Mundo. And if Mundo left tomorrow, like I would just be all Moth all the time. So I really hope he becomes Lucha Underground champion. Like I have my faves that I want to hold that title. Mundo's checked off. I'm still waiting on Cage, and I'm still waiting on Marty. But hopefully with Marty, I won't have to wait much longer. And with Mariposa as a coach, which, like, if Mariposa is going to be a part of this, I want to see her compete more. I want to see her lead by example more to show Marty, like, this is the focus you need. I'd love to see Mariposa versus Pentagon. Even if she's sacrificing herself, they could even have a cinematic where it's like, okay, Marty, I sacrificed my arm so you could study Pentagon. Were you paying attention? Were you focused? And I'll be like, oh, yeah, I figured it out, that kind of thing. Like, if we're going to have her lead the way to show Marty the greatness within himself, like, that's a great opportunity for her, too, to not be forgotten about. And like, hey, I'm fucking awesome, too. Let me show it. So I'm really hoping they take this for all it's worth, dude, because this has the potential to be great. Like, really good. So crossing my fingers.
Yeah, dude, this is the storyline that's going to get people hooked. This, and including us, I think, is going to be the one that people that were kind of on the fence about Lucha Underground Season 4 because it's shorter and there aren't as many cinematics. This is the storyline that's going to take us from, yeah, it's been solid, but it just doesn't feel the same, to, okay, now we hear.
Yeah, dude. Yes. And the idea that they're trusting Marty with that shit. Yes. I'm so happy. Yeah, man. Great shit. I've got nothing else to say about it. Do you?
No. What's next?
All right. Well, next is, obviously our High Spots, Low Shots. But before that, got to get plugs out of the way. First and foremost, for anybody that hasn't yet, if you would like to leave a like on this video, we would greatly appreciate it. If you're all about that Lucha Underground fandom and everything they're doing in that temple, leave that like. Guys, we have an all Lucha Underground content ever playlist. Anybody that's new to Lucha Underground or old and wants to go back to old TWitWoW memories, either us analyzing a superstar or an episode or live reacting, like my Mundo markouts or Ashton marking out to Mill winning the world title at the first Ultima Lucha. It's all in there, guys. It's all freaking in there. So go to that playlist. You won't be disappointed. As far as TWitWoW stuff, all of our social media is in the description, like the Facebook page. Follow us both on Twitter. My pinned tweet is to collect Q&A questions. Q&A is tomorrow, July 26th. Get your questions in now. There is not much time left. We go live with those at 7 p.m. EDT. So you've only got a few hours left. It's 4 questions per Q&A. You can divvy them up however you want. Again, you can tag your questions onto my pinned tweet. You can DM me. Or if Twitter doesn't work, there's also YouTube, Facebook, and Discord, which I'll get to in a moment. Teespring, we have all sorts of merch. We have merch inspired by wrestlers ranging from Braun Strowman to Kevin Owens. We have TWitWoW specific merch, like I'm a TWitWoW guy and I'm a TWitWoW girl, because we're all about that gender equality. We even have, because we're the most dominant faction on the internet today, Scum Squad merch. That's right, fucking Scum Squad merch. If you ever think to yourself, I really hate this person's face. The only good thing it produces is tears, and I can't even drink them. Now you can, because we have Scum Squad inspired mugs. Yes, we are that deliciously evil. So go check out the Teespring. We have a lot of great offerings for you. The big thing, though, is the Patreon. If you love TWitWoW, if you agree with me that it is the best wrestling podcast on the web today, and you want to be a part of it, you're like, I want to contribute to this, I want to further what they do, Patreon's the best thing to do. You can donate $3, get Discord membership, and that'll help us with our projects, because our big project right now is Progress Live reactions every month. That is currently a goal of $120. We are $20 below that goal last I checked. We're only at $100. If you want to close that gap, joining the Discord is the best thing you can do. It's only $3 a month again, and you get to be a part of the most passionate TWitWoW fan base, because we have a lot of Discord members there. I think, is Brandon here? Yes, he is. Brandon is a part of the Discord, and we got a lot of other fans as well. It's a really good time. We've got really tabs for everything on that Discord, from wrestling to movies. We even have a not suitable for work chat for some of you naughtier types. So,
and for those of you that like talking to John about his son Cliff, and Cliff's son, James, and then James's son, who's John. I don't know how the fuck it works, but Scum Squad chat in there.
Yeah. So, guys, we have everything in there. It's a great community. And I always call it a win-win-win-win, because you get to be a part of the Discord. You get to donate to help us get to Progress. But then you're like, there's not enough me in there. Don't worry. There is. Because when you donate, and you donate consistently for a period of time, you may have the ability for content control. The way I always break it down, say you donate the minimum of $3 a month, right? That gets you Discord access. You stay in the Discord for 10 months. $3 a month comes out to $30. $30. You know what that gets you? You can make us then give you a live reaction to a 3-hour show. And believe me, folks, the possibilities are endless. We know. We've done several Patreon requests before. Some of them have been amazing. Others have been nightmarish. Looking at you, Ring of Honor. But it's all within your control. The power is yours. So please do consider donating to the Patreon. We would greatly appreciate it. And now that those plugs are out of the way, let's get to our final segment of the night, high spots and low shots. My low shot, the always wonderful, the always grease-stained Vincenzo. He got sacrificed, and my heart is empty the same way Antonio is, because he's callous and unforgiving, and I kind of respect him for it, but not Vincenzo. No! Vinny, you had a great run. I doubt we'll see you again. I don't know if you listen to the show. I hope you do, because I always thought we were cool on Twitter, but I loved you. I love the cinematics of you eating pizza in the bathroom. And I thought you were really great in your role, man. It sucks that we're not going to see any more of you. I really, really wanted to. I feel like I was one of the few people that was like, oh, push Vinny, on Twitter when me and him would be in conversation. And now he's getting pushed all right. 6 feet under. So, Ashton, who's your low shot?
The Trios champions, because not only did Son of Havoc eat the L for his team in the Trios match tonight, and he was supposed to be the Trios expert. He's held the Trios titles with multiple different teams, and he was the one that took the L. And then, after the match, all 3 members of the Trios champions got their asses beat by Mil Muertes.
Yeah, Mil doesn't fuck around, and he was owning all sorts of face tonight. So, great stuff there. And high spot. I know the obvious choice, but I don't want to always be the... No, you know what? I know what I want to do. My high spot's fucking Marty the Moth. Because if that cinematic is any indication, we are going to get a refocused Moth and one that wants to be Lucha Underground champion after coming in second, like the last guy eliminated in Aztec Warfare. It's a logical progression. So close to realizing his potential, but not quite there. So Mari Posa is the one that needs to give him just that little push that he lacked in Aztec Warfare. I love it. Marty's an amazing dude. He deserves this freaking push. He's one of my favorite heels in the game right now. And considering that that's a space shared by like The Miz, Tommaso Ciampa, and others, that is high freaking praise. And yeah, I really hope that this culminates with him being Lucha Underground champion, because I am sick to death of Pentagon, and no better person to end the reign than Marty the fucking Moth. I believe in you, Marty. Fap to the flap. It's not just a skirl thing anymore, folks.
No, dude, both of the evil Martys in wrestling flap.
I know, right? So who is your high spot, Ashton?
Well, you and I both had an opportunity to have a high spot, and I had 2 names in mind, and you took one of them, so I'll take the other. El Dragon Azteca Jr.
Yeah.
won a championship that wasn't him being tied at the hip to 2 other better veterans than him. And he's a singles champion for the first time in Lucha Underground. And this is his 2nd title, which means that if he does manage to win the world title, he'll become I think the 3rd ever Triple Crown champion in Lucha Underground after Puma, Phoenix, after Phoenix and Johnny Mundo. And yeah, man, El Dragon Azteca Jr. finally won a championship without Rey Mysterio's help whatsoever. And he's got a bright future. It's just a matter of actually cashing the thing in before you end up losing it in a title defense. So while I actually have the opportunity to say that EDA Jr. had a good night, I'm going to take that opportunity and say, yeah, EDA Jr. had a great night.
So proud of your face. So yeah, I'm clearly in a good mood because of all things Moth. So I've got really nothing else to say, but go Marty.
Back to the flat, Marty!
Back to the flat, Marty! Marty's gonna listen and be like, what the fuck? I mean, I dig it, but still. Yeah,
it's a Marty Skrull thing if you don't know, Marty.
Yeah, but now it belongs to you, Marty, because unlike
it belongs to all Martys who flap their arms like moths.
You know what? You're right. All of you flap your arms only if you're named Marty. If you're not named Marty, you're a fucking weirdo. Get help. But
I wonder if Marty Elias ever flaps his arms like a moth.
He does. He loves Marty the Moth. He wants to be in the Moth tribe. But any concluding remarks about Lucha Underground tonight, partner?
No.
All right, neither from me. So, guys, this has been Lucha Underground. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my coordinating commentary. Guys, Be sure to comment on this video when it's done processing. Talk to us, talk to us, talk to us. I told you I was bringing it back, and I did. Like the video and subscribe to your new favorite wrestling podcast if you haven't yet. We greatly appreciate all of it. I already did the plugs, before high spots and low shots, so I'm not going to go through all that again. Instead, what I will tell you is we will see you guys at 11:30 for our NXT review. It's Ciampa. It's Black. It's the NXT Championship. It's going to be fucking awesome, guys. I can't wait. And we'll see you there for all of our coverage. I have a feeling this is going to really be something special. So until then, tune in and peace out.